Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we're going to begin the funeral services of Mrs. Marla Dorf. We welcome those of you here at the funeral home and those of you who are online. Rabbi Karen Kedar, close family friend, will be officiating. At this time, she's going to approach the family to perform the ancient ceremony of Kriya, of tearing of the ribbon. And this is a last and gentle reminder, please be sure your phones are off and your masks are on.
Thank you for keeping your masks on so that we can do this dignified and safely. When we are in such distraught and sadness, we turn to the Psalms. This psalm to me always means so much, even though it talks about mountains, and we here in Illinois are used to the flat earth. But you can imagine, just in our despair, looking up towards the heavens, and asking the profound questions of our tradition. I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from God, who is the maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian, your protection at your right hand. I recite in English the 23rd Psalm, and it talks about living in the valley of the shadows, and at the end it says that we are pursued not by darkness, but by goodness and mercy. And I hope that brings you a small measure of comfort right now. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod, thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In the rising of the sun and its going down, we will remember her. In the blowing of the wind and the chill of winter, we will remember her. In the opening of buds and rebirth of spring, we will remember her. And in the rustling of the leaves, the beauty of autumn, we will remember her. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember her. And when you are weary and in need of strength, you will remember her. When you are lost and sick at heart, you will remember her. When you have joys you yearn to share, you will remember her. As long as we all live, she too shall live, always a part of us, and we will remember her. In the book of Job, it says, Adonai natan v'Adonai lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai mevarach. God has given and God has taken away. We are an ancient people, well acquainted with grief and the valley of shadows. Death and sorrow are not strangers to us, but there is one thing that the centuries have taught us, and that is a good name endures beyond a grave. And she had a very good name. So now we say, with Job, Adonai natan, God, you gave us a loved one, and for all that she was, we offer the deepest thanks of our hearts. Adonai lakach, nothing less than God could take her away, for she fought for every breath to be with you. And we hope that our strength and our faith will turn our broken hearts into an altar of trust, so that we can say, Yehi Shem Adonai mevarach, which means blessed be the name of God. There is strength in faith. It does not elude us that we are right before Yom Kippur, right after Rosh Hashanah, right at that moment that all of us are digging deep, deep to tell us and to see who it is that we are as an individual and how we can live our lives. In talking with the family, a poem that is very popular, many of you may have heard it before, called The Dash by Linda Ellis, said this is her poem. And so I'll begin with this poem, and then I'll ask her son to come up and her daughter, and then I'll conclude with a few words. I read of a man who stood to speak at a funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from beginning to end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between the years. For that dash represents all the time they spent alive on earth now, and only those who love them know what little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that still can be rearranged. To be less quick to anger and show appreciation more. Love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect, and more often, wear a smile, remembering this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you lived your dash?
On behalf of myself, my father, Jacqueline, Scotty, and Hannah, we are so grateful that you are all here to celebrate the incredible life of the legend that is Marla Dorf. Thank you for the overwhelming love and support over the last couple years, this past week, and for being here today. The room is radiating with love, which is only fitting for our mom that embodied love in every form. Our wife, our mom, our Mimi, and our happy warrior passed away peacefully in our arms after a 14-month battle with cancer. There are no words to describe the pain we are feeling today, and there are way too many words to express how blessed we were to have her in our lives. Over 6 years ago today, I sat in the same seat you are all sitting in today and listened to the same poem you have just heard, The Dash. It was a funeral for someone that the Dorf family considered their second father and best friend, Jeffrey Spreckman. Jeff, like my mother, was taken from us all too soon, and similar at the pinnacle of their life. I came in angry. I came in questioning why, asking myself, how could this happen? How was this fair? Over the past 14 months, I've constantly thought back to that moment in this poem when putting in context my mother's life. And although I stand here today in front of you, brokenhearted that our mom, someone so full of life, with everything she wanted right in front of her, was taken too soon, I know how much her dash was truly worth. While I only had 36 years with her, it might as well equate to an eternity in memories, love, and laughter. I didn't have the answers then, and I don't have the answers now, but I know in my heart she would want us to focus on her dash. Today and every single day moving forward, I want to celebrate how she loved and lived between that line. She has shown us that it's not about the length of your life, but of the quality and how many lives one can touch and enhance. Most people, when they met my mother, question how could someone be this genuine, this full of love, this generous, this good of a cook, this amazing of a person, and this happy. And then they got to know her and they realized she was the real deal. This was really her. Our legend had various relationships in her life. Her marriage to my father was a fairy tale. They defined what love is and lived every day for their kids and their grandkids. She was a second mother to many of my friends, a staple of the Michiana shores. And she was infamous in every department store, retail store, grocery store, from Deerfield to New Buffalo. You can all attest to the effect she had on every single person she crossed paths with, as it only took a moment to realize you were in the presence of a legend. When I reflect on my childhood growing up and even to present day, it's impossible to miss the values she instilled in me. My mother taught me how to have fun, she taught me how to live, and she taught me how to understand. As a child, I remember crying, not wanting to go to school, not wanting to sleep out, because the home that she created was just that much better. She always showed us what was important, never taking life too seriously, never being afraid to take a chance, and always treating others with respect and decency. From Kipling to Shepherd to Deerfield High School to Kansas and the city, whenever she showed up, we always knew it was going to be a special occasion. Through all life's twists and turns, my mom's always taught me to believe in myself and trust my gut. She was the one constant and always my biggest fan. I might not have seen it then, but I know now she was just honing me to become the next version of her. When I sat down to write this and reflected over the past 14 months, it occurred to me that we have lived more over the past year than many have in their lifetime. Although she was sicker than she ever let on to, she never once complained, and she never once not smiled. After months and months of chemotherapy and being down and out, she decided to start a baking club. Her, Terry, and Monica and Jacqueline would bake endlessly all day long, and it didn't matter if it was 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock, my phone would ring, "Sammy, this is what's coming out of the oven. Sorry to bother you, I know you have a busy day." She attended mine and Hannah's engagement party. She celebrated her 70th birthday pool party. She came to our wedding shower, and we did a trip of a lifetime to Vienna, where she became our woman in gold. I can now see clearly that my mom had everything she ever wanted, and she knew it. She worked hard to plant the seeds and then got to watch them grow and flourish. On her final night, on her favorite holiday, Rosh Hashanah, she was surrounded by her entire family, telling stories, laughing, and only smiling in the fashion that she could have possibly set up. As I stand here today, I know that she had executed on her master plan. She had everything in place and knew it was okay to go, as she was going out on top in the only way she knew how. On behalf of my father, Marla was the love of my life. For 37 years, she taught me how to open my heart and what unconditional love truly meant. Our life was filled with wonderful friendship and wonderful times. Marla loved our home in Michiana and referred to it as heaven on earth. As you all know, she loved to cook and bake, and I loved to eat everything she made. Her passing has left me heartbroken, but her legacy of the 2 beautiful children and the 2 beautiful grandchildren will live on to comfort my soul. I know that Marla's love has been ingrained in all of our hearts, and the memories will live on forever. Mom, thank you for being a second mother to all my friends, especially Ricky and David and your special buddy Douglas. Thank you for being the best mother-in-law to Scotty. Thank you for being stoner sisters with Hannah. She loved watching Hannah go outside and smoke a joint. Thank you for being the best aunt to Steffi, Mikey, and sister to Monica. Thank you for being the best mother to Jacqueline. Thank you for loving and supporting Dad and being the best wife he could have ever asked for. Thank you for peeling my burning hot dogs, cutting off the crust on all my sandwiches, and creating the Sammy Special pizza from Al Forno's, which was a cheese pizza with no cheese. Thank you for supporting me when I transferred colleges and transferred back 3 weeks later. Thank you for believing in my idea of starting a cannabis company when everybody thought I was fucking crazy. Thank you for the endless hours of relationship advice and helping me land the girl of my dreams. I am the proudest mama's boy that there ever was, and I promise to carry on in your honor every single moment of every day. There is no one that will ever fill the hole in our hearts, but I will spend my entire life loving harder, living bigger, because I know that was a part of your master plan. Thank you, Mom, for always just being you. Thank you for showing us how to love, how to laugh, how to live every day to the fullest. For this is a legend that is Marla Dorf.
When I look around this room, she loved each and every one of you and probably could tell a story about each and every one of you. And this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Today is the hardest day of my life. I am the woman I am because of you. I am the wife I am because of you. I am the mother I am because of you. Mommy, I am who I am because of you. I think every single day about how lucky I am to have you as my mother. Mommy, I love you more than words can describe. I miss you terribly, and I will miss you every single day for the rest of my life. The outpouring of love over the past few days is a testament to the person you are, an effect you left on every single person that you came across. You are the most giving, selfless, and compassionate person I know. Every single day I strive to be a little bit more like you, Mom. As I sat down in bed the other night to do the impossible, try and summarize the incredible 34 years we shared together into a single speech, I was brought to tears recounting all of our memories. A few memories I will cherish forever. Our love for Michiana. You welcomed everyone into your home as if they were your own. Each of my friends that visited had a handwritten note and a container of gummy bears on their bed. Everyone that came to visit loved it just as much as you did because you were in Michiana. There was nothing better than walking into the Deer House on a Friday night after a long week, and you'd walk in and on her counter was her skirt steaks marinated in Dallas sauce, grilled shrimp, lobster tails, 4 different kinds of vegetables, your infamous rice casserole, and the world-famous deep dish pizza. Always a spread, enough to feed 40 people when it was simply 4 of us. Speaking of deep dish pizza, your homemade pizzas are the best around. I'll take a Pizza Princess deep dish pizza over Pequod's any day. Watching Daddy as your sous chef, helping you in the kitchen as you made pizza after pizza for your friends is one of my brightest memories. Then, on March 12th, 2017, our family's greatest gift arrived, our son Cooper. Watching you go from mommy to Mimi melts my heart every time I think about the love you shared with your first grandchild. When Cooper would nap every single day at your house from 1 to 4, you would sit there and watch him sleep on the baby monitor, making sure he was okay. God forbid he cried. She would want to run in there, and I would say, Mom, he's fine. Just leave him, let him sleep. And at 4 o'clock, you and Dad would fight over who got to go wake him up first. There was not a moment she wasted when she had her Mimi time. You're the best Mimi to Koopy and Sloaney. There's not a toy on Amazon that hasn't shown up at our doorstep for those 2 little love bugs. You're the most giving person, not just to your kids and grandkids, but to everyone. I literally mean everyone. You name it, anyone. One year, Sammy and I came up for Thanksgiving only to find a new guest around the table. Mimi invited the produce manager from Sunset Foods, who had nowhere to go for the holidays. So he ate with us. He was a great little gentleman. Everywhere you went regularly, the staff knew you. You treated every person in your life with so much love and admiration. You were everyone's greatest cheerleader and biggest fan. Your infectious smile. No wonder all the kids around Michiana called you Happy Marla. You always had a smile on your face that radiated through a room and was contagious to everyone around you. I can see it now as I say this out loud. That smile will be imprinted in my mind every moment from this day on. Your love for food, I mean, no one could spend as much money as she could at that grocery store. You loved going out for nice dinners. You loved putting up on a beautiful spread, your holidays, and the best time she loved to eat was at 4 a.m. in the morning. That's when she had her biggest meal of the day. You would find her eating cold skirt steak, she'd make a grilled cheese, you name it, that's when she loved to eat. A few phrases I will miss hearing every single day. Good morning, Dolly. How'd you sleep last night? Hi, honey. I love you, Poopsie. I love you with all my heart, all my love. No, wait. I'm not so sure you ever said no to me or anyone for that matter. It was only yes, 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 yes. You are my biggest cheerleader. You are my second mother. You are the second mother to Scotty, the greatest Mimi to Koopy and Sloaney. You are my mommy, and only Sammy, Scotty, Han, and I could say that. You have taught me to love endlessly, and I will live out the rest of my life in my days in your honor. I will miss you. Love, your baby.
I knew Marla many years ago. Both of us were younger. I was a young rabbi. She was active at the temple that I was working at. And she would come into my office with boundless energy as she walked into every room, curious and wondering. It is very common for us to talk about her beautiful hair and her beautiful way that she presented herself and the beautiful love that she gave. And Marla was also a deeply inquisitive, spiritual person. She studied with me privately. She studied with me in classes. She volunteered as a leader in the synagogue. It mattered to her, and it mattered to her that you two had a religious education. It mattered to both of them. And when she asked me if she could have a bat mitzvah along with Sam, normally I would say no, because then the parent, I don't know, what's the motivation? What's the kid going to feel? I'm not sure. But in this particular family, there was no question in my mind that they were a team, a clan, a unit, and she wanted to stand by him soul to soul, spirit to spirit, shoulder to shoulder, teaching him through her example what it was like to be a person with a deep spirit. And so I said, yes. How could you say no? When we talked yesterday, we did not talk much about the early years, and I know her sister is here, and that is your responsibility now to carry on those stories of your mother and your father and what it was like in the neighborhood, and the things that happened and the things that didn't happen and the good things and the disappointments, and it doesn't matter how many times you tell the stories or show the art, the pictures of her as a little girl. Her legacy will continue on as those early days, as do your parents, through the children that are and the children, God willing, who are yet to be, because you and your children will be who they are because she was who she was, and her parents were that as well. And I know there was great redemption and beauty in your coming together in these final months. 37 years. You met at that hotel on corner of Golf and Skokie right over here. How ironic that is in a very poignant, sad sort of way. That hotel that changes names all the time, but it doesn't really matter who has that hotel right now. Time stopped when you spoke of that story. You saw her from across the room and you said to yourself, Farrah Fawcett is here? And you walked up to her and you said to her, who are you? And she looked at you and she said, who are you? And as I was thinking of you telling me that, Stephen, as I was thinking about it all night, I thought to myself, you know, there are moments that we just simply recognize one another. That the biography doesn't matter, that the story doesn't matter, that the circumstances don't matter, but there is soul to soul a recognition of who you are. You are safe. You are loving. You, even though I'm so young and what do I know? You. I know who you are. It was love at first sight, but you didn't get married so quickly. You didn't exactly tell me what happened in those years that you didn't get married, but I will tell you that even in Zoom, as we talked yesterday, that little sparkle in your eyes told me that there's a story or two to be told. And my guess is many of you were there that heard that story, but at one point, this love at first sight woman, this girl of your dreams, looked at you and said, don't screw this up again. And you looked at her and said, it's time. And you created an empire. Not in the way that most people talk about empires, the way this family talks about empires. You created an empire of love. Look at this. It's incredible. And every one of you has a story to tell. And your presence here is the most significant thing you could possibly do. And the family knows that you had other places to be and things to do, and for some of us, the holiday is upon us, and there were 1,000 reasons why not to be here today, and yet somewhere inside of you said, well, of course I'm going to be here today. And that presence at the end of our days is really the only thing we have left. And they will never forget who has passed through this moment today and in the moments to come. Because today we bury her, but tomorrow and next month and the month after, we have to live without her. And that's when you need to make the phone call. You talked about the last 18 months, how ironically, where she was fighting to stay alive, and you were indulging her with every single possible cure, no matter where it was, and you were fighting for her life. Despite that tragic, sick moment, a star burst forth, I think you put it when we were talking. The celebrations, the showers, the engagement, the children, the 70th birthday, the dancing. She was dancing. She was too sick to be dancing. But her spirit didn't let her body know that. There was an exuberance about her every single moment. And I don't know if any of you are here from Michiana, but all of us know about Michiana. I knew about Michiana back in the olden days. Everybody in Michiana knows about Happy Marla, the party on the front lawn. The party on the front lawn they had even when you couldn't be there. Because the celebration continued, whether she was present or not, because of course she was present. And the sound of her riding in that cop car saying, "Good morning, Michiana." You married one of the most giving, kind, generous women. We all bear witness to that. Hopefully a lot of husbands say that. But you're right. You're absolutely right. Selfless, vivacious, inclusive when none of us were talking about inclusivity. Loved you for who you are. You know that because you were loved by her. She was really that happy. hug and a kiss. And that final night at Rosh Hashanah, it was perfect. She assembled somehow. Her soul called you all into her. One last holiday meal, one last celebration. In our tradition, Rosh Hashanah is the birthday of the world. We celebrate creation on that day. And though her soul was on its way out on Rosh Hashanah, her legacy is brighter than anything. I see it in all of your eyes. I haven't seen you in years, and I looked at you and I said, oh, I know exactly who you are. You're Marla's kids. And I hope I see your children someday and your children someday, and you will not be able to help but walk with a bounce in your step. And every time you do, and every time you see one of you walking with that bounce coming from afar down the lane, or the children somehow not knowing her but genetically getting that walk, she will be there and present with you. Because she's too big to really go away in the most significant of ways. And that's what legacy means. And so I want to end with a poem that I wrote many, many years ago. It's called A Mother to Her Girls, but I have to tell you, I am 100% sure that it is appropriate for this mommy's boy. And all of us mothers hope that of our sons for sure. And it is a poem of forgiveness because Yom Kippur is tomorrow. And I guarantee you she would want me right now to say to you, I am sorry I left you so soon. I tried not to. The morning you wake to bury me, you'll wonder what to wear. The sun may be shining, or maybe it will be raining. It may be winter or not. You'll say to yourself, black. Aren't I supposed to wear black? Then you'll remember all the times you went to buy clothes together, the prom, homecoming, just another pair of jeans, another sweater, another pair of shoes. I called you my dolls. You remember how I loved to dress you, how beautiful you were in my eyes. The morning you wake to bury me, you will look in the mirror in disbelief. You'll reach for some makeup or not, and you won't believe that this is the morning that you will bury your mother. But it is. And as you gaze in the mirror, you will shed a tear, but look carefully, for hiding in your expression, you will find mine. You will see me in your eyes, in the way you laugh. You will feel me when you think of God and of love and struggle. Look into the mirror and you will see me in that look, or in the way you hold your mouth or stand, a little bent or maybe straight, but you will see me. So let me tell you one last time before you dress what to wear. Put on any old thing, black or red, skirt or pants. Despite what I told you all these years, it doesn't really matter, because as I told you all these years, you are beautiful the way you are. Dress yourself in honor and dignity. Dress yourself in confidence and self-love. Feel a sense of obligation to do for this world, for you are the lucky ones, and there is so much to do and so much to fix. Take care of each other. Take care of your heart, of your soul. Talk to God. Wear humility and compassion. When you wake to bury me, put on a strong sense of self, courage, and understanding. I am sorry. Forgive me. I am sorry. Stand at my grave clothed in a gown of forgiveness, dressed like an angel would be, showing compassion and unconditional love. For at this very moment, all that is left of me is love. So love. May her memory be for a blessing. Please rise. El Malay Rachamim, Shochem Baromim, Hamatzeh Menuchon Nachanoah Tachat Kanfei Shechina, Im Kedoshim Tohorim Kazora Harakia Masirim Et Nishmat Marla Shalcha Olama Bal Harachamim Yastera Beseter Kanafav Olamim V'yitzor B'tzor Chaim Et Nishmata Adonai Hu Nachlata V'tanuach B'shalom Al Mishkava V'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Marla, for she has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence. Let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, as we say. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, the interment service will continue at West Lawn Cemetery located at 7801 West Montrose in Norridge. The family will be returning to Ravinia Green Country Club at 1200 Saunders Road in Deerfield following the interment, which should be about 4:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Memorial contributions in her memory to Keshet would be appreciated. All that information is on the service folder, and for the over 100 screens that are watching at this moment, you can find that information on the funeral home's website. For those of you who will be driving in the funeral procession to the cemetery, the procession will be forming in our parking lot. Please obtain an orange safety funeral sticker to place on the right-hand side of your windshield. Have your bright lights and hazard lights on at all times. For additional measures of safety, we will be providing many of the cars with a flag that will be affixed to the top portion of your car. We'll have a car in the back of the funeral procession to hopefully keep other cars from entering the procession. And for your own personal safety, I strongly recommend using your horn liberally as you're going through the intersections, and please do not speak or text on your cellular phone while driving to a cemetery. In just a moment, the pallbearers will come forward. Just as a reminder, for those of you who are going to the cemetery, please just let the family be and do not approach the family until you go to the Shiva. Just let them have their own time. Also, due to COVID, trying to clear the room out, as quickly as possible. So if you're not going to the cemetery, please just exit the building, go to the parking lot. If you are going to the cemetery, immediately go to your cars. We'll also keep these doors open to my right so you can exit promptly and safely. At this time, I'd like to call the pallbearers to come forward as we escort the casket of Marla Dorf along with her family from the chapel. Then you may return to your cars. Please rise. You may return to your cars. Reminding you, there's an exit right here.